Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Club. This is the place everyday real estate investors gather to share their best stories, biggest insights, and favorite tactics to grow a portfolio of cash flowing properties in today's market. Here's your host, Gabe Peterson.
All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Andrew Lucas with us from South Carolina, other side of the U.S. in Columbia, South Carolina. Andrew is from Deals Finders Club. Again, a lot of experience since it looks like 2007. So, I mean, I guess not a more than a decade. I was going to say not a decade, but that's almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
So, Andrew, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, Gabe, I really appreciate it. I love that you guys, asked to come on here. This is a privilege, so I'm excited. And yes, we are from all the way across the U.S., but real estate is still the same.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where you are in the U.S.
Right
on, man. Well, I think we should just jump right into it. I told you right before we got on here, we like stories. So tell us, how'd you get started in real estate?
Oh, this is dangerous because I like to tell stories. We'd be here all day, but real estate came. 2007 was my first deal, first property. Because while I was in college, I was very naive, and I thought all these landlords that were paying so much rent to, which back then was like $250 bucks a room. It was like it was so ridiculously cheap. I was like, these guys are raking in all the money. They don't even have to go to work, and we're paying them every month. And I was fed up. Like, I had that desire to do something entrepreneurial in college. Me and my friends, our roommates and stuff, we went through every different idea. We were thinking candy machines, pressure washing, car washes, whatever.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any money. Yeah, we didn't have any money. So finally graduated, and I moved home for 2 months. It was awful. It was terrible. So I was like, I got to get out. And so I had a job. I was an assistant manager at a hotel, making not very much money, but this was 2007. So I walked in and said, hey, in my mind, I was like, you won't give me a house, but me and my roommate, we want to buy a house. And they're like, no, actually, you can get one. I was like, what? I was like, are you sure? But sure enough, got a loan, and it was a loan and like first time home buyer credits, all this stuff. I walked away from closing table, serious, like completely. They gave me a check. I walked away with a check for $350 for my first house.
They paid you to buy the house?
Paid me to walk away with the house. I didn't put any money.
That's why we had a crash.
Exactly. But here's the thing: I made every mistake of the book. I bought that house. I didn't negotiate. I called the guy who had the listing on. I was like, "Hey, do you think I can get a discount?" And who's he work for? He works for the seller, and he's like, "Nah, no discounts here." And we close. Then me and my roommate, he did come in, and he was paying half the mortgage, and we ended up, it was just two of us. It was a 3-bedroom house. We were so dumb. We cut a wall out to make more room for the ping pong table. So it turned it into a 2-bedroom house. Right. And then, quickly, learned that this is not as cracked up as we thought it was. I moved out 10 months after that. I got a job out of town. And so the whole house was then rented. And that's when I realized, wait a second, that was so stupid to cut a bedroom out. I need more rent. So I went and put the wall back, and I still wasn't making any money. There was not podcasts like yours. I just can't explain it. If you weren't thinking real estate back then, there just wasn't stuff like this available.
What were the interest rates back in 2007? I don't even know.
Oh, I mean, it was great. It was like 5.5.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 6. So it was in the 5s, and I didn't have any credit really, so they were probably better for
They're
some.
just like, we could take him on his word. He's fine. He's good. He's fine. Don't worry about it.
He graduated college eventually. But so got started and had zero plan, had zero education, did not have a coach to teach me, didn't have anybody showing me that real estate could actually be a business where you could make money. I went into it thinking my entire process was I'll buy this house and in 30 years, tenants will pay it off for me and I'll have an investment for retirement. That was all I thought about. And great thing is that I wasn't really wrong, but I was really wrong on the business of real estate because we did not cash flow. It was cost us money at the end of the year after you pay taxes and insurance and repairs. And me and my wife actually we did 4 houses with that mentality, believe it or not, before an agent actually gave us the book and
he brought you over. He's like, "Hey, man, you're doing this wrong."
Yeah, she gave me this book. It's called Hold. It was
yeah, I read that. Yeah, by,
the yellow one.
Yeah.
It's
like a series, and they're all different colors.
Yeah. So read that and realized that real estate could actually be a business. You could actually make money today and cash flow and create something. So my wife and I, in 2015, we had 2 kids and one on the way, and we were painting. She was 8 months pregnant. I guess it was 2016. She was 8 months pregnant, and we were painting with oil-based paint, of all things, a house for a new tenant. And this was the summer, and these were college rentals. And we looked at each other. We're like, "This sucks. Like, we can't do this every Saturday." Our 2 young kids were at grandma's house, and we weren't making any money. So we said, either this has got to go, or you got to make money with it. And so we went through that book, made a plan, and said, let's flip some houses, because the ones we bought, we had done some renovations, and said, let's flip some to buy more to make this actually work in cash flow. So we did that. And for the next 2.5 years, we were like full steam ahead. Both of us had full-time jobs. We had 2 kids at home. It was a lot of my nights, weekends, mornings, lunchtime was going, and we were able to retire her from her job with 35 rental properties. And I was able to quit as well because we found wholesaling in 2018. So we were both out of our day jobs by 2018.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you said 2015, you started doing flips. Were you weren't doing the work yourself, right? You were hiring out contractors to do this?
Nope. I tried to do it myself the first one. And,
all right.
And then again, my wife is an amazing woman. And one thing she's good at is letting me know, quickly, how does she think about this? She of course married me and would love me to the end, but she's like, I don't like this where you're gone all Saturday and Sunday. This can't work. She's like, we did one, but we can't do any more that way. So either figure out how to do it where you're not there every waking minute, or we can't do it. And which is so critical in business and in relationships, because that was the moment we said, okay, well, if we're going to do it, then we got to figure out how to hire people, which again makes it a business. And we started doing that. And that was really the last time she and I swung a hammer. Now we just take sledgehammers, and sometimes we'll do demo when we
demos. That's the fun part. That's the part you want to be involved in. So I get that. Very cool, man. And it looks like now you guys are averaging about 6 deals per month, which is great. So when you got that, when you guys started doing the flips, after that first property, you did it yourself. You're like, never doing that again. Got to start hiring people. What was the catalyst that kind of allowed you to get to the 6 properties per month? Did I say per month? Yeah, it is per month.
Yeah.
6 per month, price point, or sorry, volume. Like, how did you guys, what were the systems and the kind of aha moments that you reached to get to that point?
Before we continue on with today's guest, I want to tell you guys about a community I'm launching on School to help investors like yourself grow your own portfolio. In this community, you'll get access to all the docs I use, all the systems I've built, everything I've used to grow my own portfolio, as well as instructions and guidance on how to get out there and find great deals, how to finance those deals, and then how to manage them for great returns. Since we're just launching it, the price will be set at a measly $20 per month, and whatever price you join at is the price you'll have for life. We will be increasing the price as the group grows, so if you're at all interested in growing your portfolio along other investors, now is the time to join. I will put the link somewhere in the bio or on our podcast website at therealestateinvestingclub.com, so if you are interested, head on over there. With that said, let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So when we were doing this back then, 2015, 16, everything that we bought came from either we found on the MLS or an agent brought it to us.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we did not have the education. Now, one thing that helped was during that flip when I was doing, long hours, I actually laid tile in that one. With my earbuds.
Side note, the first stuff, one of the first flips that I did, I also did the work, and I remember distinctly walking through that property with a contractor because me and my partner, we were trying to do like all the work, but we couldn't do electrical, so we hired an electrician. We were walking through the property, and he looked at the tile in the bathroom. He's like, "Oh man, who did your tile? Like, you gotta fire them. They're not good." And it was I was the one who had laid that tile. And at that point, I was like, "Yeah, I should not be hiring or swinging that hammer." But
You're
sorry,
right.
I jumped into your story. Keep going.
Well, I'll go into that. It's because our backsplash fell off the wall.
Oh, nice.
So, but I would try it anyway, and we ended up having to get somebody to come do it because I did it wrong apparently. But with earbuds in, I had some question and I Googled it, I guess, and found bigger pockets. And so I started listening to those podcasts, and it introduced me to, again, the idea of asking for help, finding people, finding a community that can help us go a little faster and further. And then from there, doing the flips. In actually 2017 or 18, we hired a mentor, a coach, to help us do the flips and to create a business. Well, that coach was like, "Hey, do you have any properties that you're sitting on? I've got a crew. I don't want to lose them, and I need to give them some work." And I was like, "Well, actually, I've got this one. It was a foreclosure. Got off the MLS. Again, everything is MLS." And I said, "We're supposed to close on it in like 2 weeks, but I have 2 more properties. Like, I can't get to it. I just bought it because it was a good deal or went under contract." And he said, well, cool. Just wholesale it to me. And I looked at him like, what? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. I was like, do you want it or not? And he's like, yes, wholesale it. And I said, whatever. I don't know what you're saying. So he taught me what wholesaling was. And then I found Wholesaling Inc. and really, hired coaches to learn that business. And we started with postcards straight out the gate. And now our main marketing channels are 4 of them, really. Is postcards, our website. We have TV commercials, and then a referral network, which really encompasses like agents and past clients and that kind of thing. So we just went all in on those postcards, and it started working. And that's how we just keep going. And now we have a team. We have an acquisition specialist and a manager over there, and a VA and another. So it's four people that run that for us.
Very cool, man. Man, there's so many things that I want to jump into in that story that kind of stood out to me. One thing I just want to call out for people who are maybe new and they want to start flipping. You said one line, the guy that first taught you about wholesaling, or at least mentioned the concept of it to you. He said, "I have a crew and I don't want to lose them." And I feel like that is such a powerful line once you've gotten into real estate and you realize how important contractors are, good contractors.
Yeah.
Because, this guy, he probably would have done a deal that, isn't a grand slam just to keep these good contractors busy, because, once you find them, it's just so hard to find good contractors. And if you're not keeping them busy, they're going to go somewhere else, which they should, because they need to work. But I don't know. I just wanted to underline that because it shows how important good contractors are. And I just like the idea of it. But yeah, outside of that, two things that I wanted to go into. One was coaches, and one was your TV, because that's a channel, a marketing channel that not many people even consider.
Yeah.
So actually, let's just start with the TV. You know,
Sure.
I've done every single marketing channel known to man. We're on the commercial side, so it's a little bit different than residential. But TV is something that I have no experience with, but I've heard people have good success with it. So,
Yeah.
how has it been for you? How's your experience been with TV commercials? And then take us through the process of how that works, how you record it, how you get it onto a channel, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So the results for us, we're learning. We're changing something this year because, and this is just marketing 101. I'll just put it out there for people. It's the clients, the customers, they will do the minimum possible, right? They're going to do the least possible to get to you. And so we did not do the smart thing of our website that's on the commercial. We did our main website with a / TV. Well, nobody does that. So you got to get a vanity. You got to get something that exactly goes to that to track them. However, the phone number blows up like crazy. So we do know that it's more than paying for itself. It's it brings in a quarter of our business. So if you break that down to monthly, it's a deal and a half a month. And the results of that are so much more than just someone picks up the phone and calls us from the commercial. What we get from it is really why we started our local community, was because we wanted people around us that knew the business, and when they had questions, they would come to us. Maybe we wouldn't know the answer, but they knew that we knew people. So now this is a forward facing for the market, the sellers. It's the same thing. If they want to sell, they may not need us because we're going to buy at a discount, but they're going to call us because they know that we know what to do.
And then you can refer it to a broker and get, a brokerage referral fee, or you can, if you're a broker yourself, you can list it. All that stuff.
And all that just builds brand authority, which then it transfers down to our website, where I'm very confident in saying we've been number one in our market for ever since the TV commercials. We were up there before, but we are cemented as number one on Google rankings and everything that we track. And I believe it's because of that, because our brand authority is out there. People are clicking, they hear the name, they type the name. Google really likes when people type your name. Yeah. If you're being found through search.
Are you saying like Andrew Lucas, or are you saying like
the company? Yeah. Okay. The company, the brand, brand. Right. So, when people hear our name enough, then they go in and they type in our name, which then tells Google that we have brand recognition. Our name is important. Yeah. And that puts us up versus people just saying, I want to sell a house in Columbia.
Right.
And we're all fighting for that keyword to rank for that. But Google knows our website. So that's a huge piece for us. And that's branding.
Backlinks somewhere from that.
Yeah. And that's just all branding kind of 101, but that's what we use TV for. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to dive into this just a little bit more, because it's something that we don't often, or in fact, I've only had one other person on the show. We've done 450 some interviews, and I've only had one person do TV. Yeah. But he, raved about it too. And so it's a really interesting marketing channel, and I want to learn a little bit more. What does the commercial consist of? I mean, is it you personally that's on the show, or is it just like, hey, do you have a house? You're underwater, you want to get rid of it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm not going to use those words, but is it just a voiceover, or is it you personally talking to the camera?
Yeah, actually, it's me, and I'm wearing this shirt. Okay. So, it's me in this shirt with my wife, and we did one without the kids, but then we did 2 or 3 with the kids. And those are the ones that have been running for the last 2 years, I think. And most people love the kids. We literally get phone calls and like, I don't want to sell my house. I love my house, but Your kids are so cute. And so it helps with referrals for that. But we also have, which is really funny, we have a Google review, and you can all go, anybody that's listening to this, ColumbiaCashHomebuyers.com, you can look at the Google review where someone literally went on there and said, you should not work with this company. They have these young kids. It's child labor or some crazy stuff like this. And that, you're going to get that no matter what. You're going to have people that just don't like it. But what the TV commercial does, and the reason we use it is because we are the local home buyer. We want the message, because this is who we are. I came from hotels, like hospitality, service. That's who we are. And so when you call, we want you to know that you're calling a local home buyer, and we are here, and we provide a good service. Just here we are. Here's the face. And so when we put the family on there, it just helps do that. Really solidifies that message.
Mm. And are you did you record this yourself, or did you hire like a videographer?
So a really cool thing is, and if anybody's interested, I can connect you with the guy that set it up. But basically, the guy set us up with a TV station to go there. They recorded it, and then our media buyer guy, his company, put it together, put the couple of 30-second spots together, and once they put them together, then they send them out to the stations. And so then we really could pick and choose. Like tomorrow I could say, hey, I don't like ABC anymore, take us off that, and then we could just take it off. Or I want to go on CBS, whatever, and put us on. So it's one of those things. As you grow into the business, we talked about this in the beginning, is I was introduced to them through another connection, a guy that has mentored us for this TV spot and kind of showed us and got us going down this road. And so that connection brought us to this company that does it for us. And so again, just kind of as you're building a business, this is not something that everyone can jump out the gate and afford if you're brand new. But as you're building businesses, there has to be a budget for marketing and all these things. And so that's where we put that budget, is to let the experts, let the professionals work. When we talk to new deal finders, new investors, we say, let the professionals work. Go talk to your agents and other wholesalers. Like, if this is their job, it'd be worth you reaching out to them and seeing what they could do. So we reached out to the marketing company, and they take care of it.
Very cool. So it sounds like you guys are doing 30-second spots. I'm assuming you're doing this in the evening, or midnight, or,
all day, man. It's the daytime TV. It's the soap operas. The Price is Right.
What's the cost for a 30-second spot?
I had a feeling you were going to ask me that. I have no clue. We get a lot of 30-second spots. I'm trying to visualize our invoice, because it's all detailed, and like I could see what TV shows we're on, and Judge Judy and all this stuff. Yeah. And we have a few nighttime spots as well. And of course, like the midnight hour, it's running, the midnight hour is like pennies. I feel like it's super cheap. I know that, I don't even know. I feel like we're getting, I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't know. We spend about $9 or $10 a month, and we're getting 400 spots, something like that. What's the math on that? I don't even know.
For 9,000 divided by 400, or that's 25. I did 10,000 divided by 400.
What's 400 spots a week? So divided by 1,600. So $6 a spot. That sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of them are expensive. Like, I'm trying to think of maybe the Price is Right or whatever. Some of those things will be
4, 5, 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure those slots are a lot more expensive, but
yeah.
Well, cool, man. I like hearing, people using alternative marketing channels, and it sounds like that's working out for you guys. So it's awesome to hear. I took a peek at the clock. We're running it down. But before we move over to the quick question round, I want to ask about coaches. I'm a huge proponent of mentors. I've had great mentors in my career so far, but they were never paid mentors. So they're usually people who I partnered on a deal with, and then they just turned into kind of a mentor role. But I've always considered, hiring an actual coach who's been 2-3 steps down the line to where I am. So what's been your experience with hiring coaches, and is it something that you recommend to everybody?
Yes. So if I recommend it, absolutely. And your point is exactly right. It's finding someone that's like 2 or 3 steps ahead, not try to hire somebody that's 10 steps.
Grant Cardone, you don't need to hire him. He's way too far down the line.
It depends on he has programs for your next 2 or 3 steps. He also he'll get you, and you'll pay every level, right? You'll keep paying. And so you want to join his join his program at the right spot. I feel like that's very important, because if you get with people that are so far advanced, they're talking conceptually that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you've got to be somewhere where you still speak the same language.
Right.
But they've gone through it, and they will get you to the next 2 or 3 levels much faster. So our experience, and so how does that work for us is, when I first started and we said we want to make this a business, we hired a coach, and then we were like, hey, we're flipping these houses, but we need to know more about, we're going to quit our day jobs. How do we live on this? And so we hired another coach to help us figure out like cash flow and apartment investing and stuff like that, like the buy and hold. And so then we were doing that, and then we felt really comfortable with that. And then wholesaling was this new thing. I was like, oh my gosh. And by this point, I'm like, well, if I want to learn wholesaling, I need to hire somebody.
Have a coach.
Right. And so that was then. And now we run a local event, local meetups. We have a local community where we do partner and coach people. Well, again, if I wanted to do that, when we started our local meetup, I hired a coach to help me start it, but we didn't do any coaching or mentoring. It was literally just a meetup where we all got together. And then we said, well, people were asking us to help them and mentor them, but I didn't know how to be a coach or a mentor. So I hired somebody else.
Coach to coach.
So this is going to the next, because that's what I believe it's good for, is like, when you want to go to the next step, well, find somebody that's doing it well, or just beyond it.
Yep.
And we've continued to do that. And I don't see us stopping that. And so it's just one of those things. Money is a tool to get you things done faster, no matter what it is, right? You could pay somebody Uber, right? You just get it done faster, your DoorDash, whatever. And if you don't have the money, fine. That, like, you will just bootstrap, you will work harder and longer. That is not wrong.
Yeah.
But if you've got the money and you can use it as a tool, why not use it to find a drill instead of a hammer, right? Yep. So 100%.
I've considered it many times. For every time on this podcast I say you need a mentor. Every mentor up to this point in my career has been people that I partner on deals with, and then I learn from them. But I really do feel like it's, for my own career, I need to hire coaches for very specific things in my business. People who are really good at, disposition, people who are really good at, X or Y or Z or whatever the specific action is. I feel like it'd be really beneficial to hire somebody who has a lot of experience in that, to kind of give you guidance. And so I like that. I like that you've had a lot of experience hiring coaches, and you've had some success with that. So
when we get off, I'll connect you with somebody that will be what you're looking for.
There you go. Right on, man. Well, hey, we need to move on. We've blown through our time, so it's time to jump into the quick question round. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Starts with education. Could be books, could be Netflix series, could be YouTube channels, whatever. I just need 2 recommendations, one for general life wisdom and then one for real estate.
So I'm sure you get it all the time, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad and all that, but because of where it was in my story and we brought it up, I'd say the book Hold for
Okay.
real estate, and then go into that whole series. The millionaire real estate investor.
Yep.
Goes with that.
Yep.
And then general. I'm looking at my bookshelf. Oh, I got to take that one back. Actually, this one will go for both. It's profit first for real estate investing.
Okay.
Huge. We now give that to our partners, where huge benefit just for your personal self as well, but your real estate business and being able to actually keep money in the bank. Game changer.
There you go. I like it. All right. Next question is for your younger self. So let's go back to the Andrew back in 2007, who was just looking at that first house, getting it, walking out with a check to buy his house, which is just amazing. Go back to him, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Ooh, gosh, if I had known how, I don't want to say the wrong word, but how simple finding money for real estate investing is. The 8 years that we spent trying to fund it all on our own using conventional wisdom, we would be so far ahead. Yeah. So if the one piece of advice would be, don't listen to the traditional people.
Yeah.
That, like the
Raise
agents,
capital.
the bankers, all that. Go find that off market capital and the off market properties.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Next question is about your business. The first 3 positions we hire form the foundation of your business. What were they for you? And would you hire them in a different order if you did it again today?
The first was a VA for marketing, and I would do that again first because that's not my forte.
Yeah.
So,
and when you say marketing, do you mean what do you mean by marketing? It can mean many things.
Yeah. So for
calling or
for actually pulling lists and setting the mail, sending the marketing mail. Yep. Yeah. And so sending that out, then the leads would come in. And so the next thing we hired was someone to manage the leads that would come in and answer the phones first and get me the warm or hot leads again, because those were the 2 things that I was worst at. I would say, but you've got the marketing piece, getting the marketing out, or however you do that. You got to do that. Then you got to manage the leads, and then you got to close them. So in this business, those 3 things, whichever one you're worst at, hire it first. And then outside of that is a personal or executive assistant, not necessarily personal, but executive assistant that can manage day-to-day, my calendar, the business calendar, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. That's good first hires. And I didn't realize until I did the first couple of tax returns how important a bookkeeper is.
Oh gosh, yes.
Man, if you don't have a good bookkeeper, it's just it can be a nightmare.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, next question is about the U.S. It's a big place, a lot of opportunity. I'm going to take Colombia out of the mix. I know that you guys are focused on Colombia, but I just want to hear your perspective on other markets. So, if you could choose one other market that's not Colombia, what would it be?
So I have to narrow this down. I have to go with our Southeast region. All data points to migration in this area. Mm-hmm. I would have to go and find business friendly, and whether you like it or not, that's generally like your red
Florida
areas. Yeah. So mayors or whatever, Republican led, doesn't necessarily have to be the governors, but whatever. And so then I'm looking for the demand generators locally. So I like colleges, I like military bases, and I like big industry. So where am I thinking? Where am I landing? I think I'm landing. I'm gonna get out of Florida because I think it's overpriced. Okay. So I'm going into probably Georgia, outside Atlanta, at least by an hour or 2. It's got to be a population of 1 million. So I don't know where this place is, but that's where I'm going.
Population of 1 million in the greater metro area you're talking about.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, all right. Outside of ATL, I like that. Atlanta is a great market.
Their industry is outside. There's so much land out there, so that's where I would be looking. And then if not that, North Carolina for the same stuff.
Yep. All right, next question. You mentioned a number of channels, postcards, TV, all that stuff, website, referrals. If you could choose just one of them, what's your favorite way to generate leads?
My favorite, probably because it's been our just tried and true, is the postcards.
Yep.
I just think it's just so consistent and just keeps on keeping on.
Yep. And the cool thing about postcards is that you get calls on them, months, even years down the line. I've had people say, "Hey, I got your postcard." And I'm like, "Wow, you haven't been on my list for a long time. It's amazing that you called."
I know. How did you get there?
All right. Next question is about lessons learned. Not every deal goes the way that we expect it. A lot of times a wrench is thrown into the mix and we get to learn a lesson. So what was a deal that went a little bit sideways for you, and what was the biggest lesson that you pulled from it?
We've learned a lot of lessons. I think the biggest lesson was a deal that I'm thinking of. I guess it's been a year and a half now, where we did actually have to, lose money. We got to sell it. We got to get rid of it because of the market. This was, last year where the market just kind of crashed with the interest rates going up, and we said we got to move. But the lesson is we were too slow with the contractors. We gave them too many chances. We just kept doing, all right, you can get it this time. All right, get it now. Yeah. Like, get it now. Yeah. And before you know it, you've gone months with little tiny progress, because they were like, look what I did. Look at it, and we have a lot going on. And that's why we've changed and hired some people to make sure that we don't let those things slip. And so the fact that we just let time go way too long by giving too many chances was the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another lesson, to have your draws be smaller and in more chunks, because if a contractor is just not doing the work, you got to pull them. It can be so frustrating. I remember we had our personal bathroom done by a contractor that was referred to us, and he was just giving us a dirt cheap, quote. And we were like, we can't pass this up. We did it. It took him over a month to do this bathroom, and that we did not have the bathroom available to us. And it wasn't a big job. And we were just like, I was like, never again. I'm never letting this happen again. So, good lesson. All right. And that brings us to the very last question. This is for the listeners. You've given us a lot to think about. I'm sure people want to reach out, get in contact with you. Where can they find you? And then what can they expect when they reach out?
Yeah. Dealfindersclub.com. You can go there. We have resources there. Link to send me an email is right there. So it's super easy. To what to expect. I mean, we help people anywhere in the country get their first, second, or third deal by being the local deal finder, local house buyer. And so we have a course for that. We have videos on that. We have all kinds of stuff for that. If you're local, if you're in South Carolina and willing to come down here, we have live events every week. We're doing something and teaching, training, and partnering with people here locally. So happy to connect. We also do like a free 15-minute call just to see where you are and kind of give you like, what is your next step kind of deal. If you're stuck on like the analysis paralysis, and you feel like you're spinning your wheels, that's just something from our experience. If we can help people just kind of click over into the next thing, they can get their ball rolling again. And it's super easy. It's easy for me to do, 15 minutes. So love to help do that for people.
Cool. I will put those links in the show notes. So if y'all want to reach out and get that 15-minute little kick in the ass, I will put that down there. Just click a little more, or the more in the description, and that'll pull down the full description. And in there, I will put the links. Awesome, Andrew. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me. Thanks, Gabe.
Absolutely. For everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. If you want to support us, just give us a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, before I officially sign off, I have a quick announcement to make. If you're interested in becoming a passive investor in one of my deals, my own company, Kaizen Properties, is looking for capital partners for our upcoming projects. We invest in what are known as recession-resistant assets, mainly self-storage facilities, mobile home and RV parks, and industrial properties. If you're interested in investing and would like to learn a little bit more about my company, our investing criteria, and some of the previous projects we've done, go to the Real Estate Investing Club podcast at therealestateinvestingclub.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Click on the Invest With Us button. That'll pop up the investor form. Fill that out, and we will reach back out to you as soon as we can. Or if you prefer a little bit more of a personal touch, you can reach out to me at gabe@therealestateinvestingclub.com. So really, that is it. Again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys during this episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.